We are going to be hosting the governor of Mombasa County next because of what's happening in that county. All right. He's on his way. He'll be here shortly. He'll be in the studio shortly. And once he joins, we'll have this conversation with him, Abdulswamad Sherrif Nassir. So what's happened around those counties? Let me tell you this story of, it's in page 3 of The Nation today. Farmers in Embu have vowed to fight the ban on Muguka business in Mombasa and Kilifi, and calls by leaders in Coast for 4 other counties or for other counties in the region to follow suit. On Saturday, Embu Deputy Governor Kenyu Amogo and the woman rep Njoki Njeru led local residents in a demonstration in Embu town, causing a major traffic snarl-up. They criticized the Mombasa Governor Abdulswamad Sharif Nassir over the decision, saying they were not consulted to give their views before the ban was imposed. This is what the woman rep Ms. Njeru said. It's unfair for Mombasa to ban the sale of Muguka, which is a cash crop that locals depend on for survival. Growing and selling of Muguka is a legal business, and the position taken in Mombasa is illegal. A farmer, Samuel Gitonga, lamented that they would not survive without the trade. The decision will kill our livelihoods. We shall continue taking to the streets until the ban is revoked. Mombasa is the largest market for Muguka nationally. The governor of Mombasa has ordered the closure of all Muguka outlets and in the region, and directed county officials to enforce this directive with immediately effect. By the authority vested in me by the Constitution and existing laws, hereby I order and direct that there be a total prohibition of the entry, transportation, and use of Muguka and its products within Mombasa County, he said. He explained that he had made the decision after considering the sentiments of the residents during a public participation exercise and consulting the National Authority for the Campaign Against Drug and Alcohol Abuse. So this is it. It started in Mombasa. It went into Kilifi. Those in Kuala said, okay, we're imposing higher taxes so we can discourage Muguka in our county. Over the weekend, then, we have seen Taita Taveta has said also, we are also doing the same thing, banning entry, transportation, sale of Muguka. The governor of Mombasa is here with us. 001, like that. Suit your jacket. Governor Abdulswamad Sharif Nassir, good morning.
Morning to you. How are you guys?
Very well. Good to have you back. You're doing well. Twice in the same quarter this time.
Tunajaribu. We're trying. As always, it's good to be here. Clear the air on a few issues.
Yeah.
I always get told. I was always taught this, that when you cause many ripples, it means you're doing the right thing.
Okay.
So
cause many ripples, you're a big stone.
Or a quick small one.
The fact that we've caused the ripples. When I came in, I saw you reading the newspaper where the local leadership. By the way, I don't blame the local leadership for taking such a hard stand. The local leadership in Embu. But this conversation did not start yesterday or the day before.
It's a long one.
It's a very, very
We'll
long,
get into the details shortly.
Conversation.
Karibu sana. City,
Yes.
now give the governor the days, probably.
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week come from the Republic of Zimbabwe. Proverb, you should try things. That's how it starts. You really should try things. A grandmother from Chivi cooked stones and got soup.
You should try things.
You should try things.
A grandmother from Chivi. Chivi must be a place in...
It's a place in Zimbabwe.
In Zimbabwe. Or
Yes.
maybe Chivi is Kenya.
Yes.
A grandmother from Chivi cooked stones and got soup.
I'm assuming that Chivi is a place that has the mountains are the ones that actually have salt in them and a bit of minerals. And the fact that everyone said you're just not going to be able to do it, you're wasting your time, and she did what needs to be done.
You should try things.
You should try things.
This grandmother reminds me of Mombasa. We try things.
That's interesting. I just saw that Chivi is a place that is hardest hit by food insecurity in Zimbabwe.
It's a
Yes.
dry. It's dry. It's a dry,
It's desolate.
hunger-stricken
Yes.
part of Zimbabwe. Okay. So a grandmother from here had nothing else to cook. And she was looking at her family and wondering, okay, so what do I do? She picked the stones, which is what was available. She cooked it. There was a story about a similar thing happening in Mombasa during COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A mother of somewhere in Mombasa cooked stones and got soup.
To give the illusion that she was cooking.
That she was cooking.
Kids could eat.
Yeah. So, Governor, Shida, and you're calling it Muguka, is a big drug problem in Mombasa. What's the genesis of this?
2 months after I got elected, I stirred the waters by doing exactly. All this happens because of financial matters. I stirred the waters by increasing the cess fees. I got a whole hue and cry from every single person. Made me now be able to sit down with these gentlemen and ladies. This is 2 months after I got elected. I read out to them what the regulations of miraa say. I told them, these are the way the regulations are. Please, you cannot be able to sell near schools. You cannot be able to just transport the way you want to transport them unless we give you a specific license. Please do not go and do all this. True to their word, everyone said an oath that we're definitely going to be able to comply. We're going to do everything that needs to be done. Very recently, we stirred the waters again, because again, no one listens. And this time round, true to their word, every single person came over to me. I mean, everyone came and said, Governor, what you're doing, is hurting us. We're going to be able to comply. We're going to do everything. I got in a team. The mayor leadership came in and we proposed. I took 2 names of locals from there. Then I took 2 names as well from the people from Embu. I said, look, these are the places that are actually selling. Please, these are your kinsmen. Give them notice. You cannot be able to sell to children. You cannot expose our children to all this. Started playing Mickey Mouse games. These guys feel that, no, it's all right. This is another day that we're just going to be able to talk and talk and talk. And this is another day where everything is just going to be left to be idle. They did exactly that. Give an enforcement notice. Please close down this area. Please do not sell to our children. A week or so passes, and exactly the same places are still selling to our children. And let me tell you where the problem is. When you have a product where 3 children or 2 children can be able to get their lunch pocket money and access that product easily, that's a challenge. The conversation of the effect on Muguka on our children has not begun during my tenure. It just took someone to say that, look, I'm pressing the red button and enough is enough. There's been so much stereotype out there that the major problem in Mombasa is cocaine and heroin, which, by the way, we don't have a cocaine problem per se as a cocaine problem. The problem had always been heroin. But now this has even surpassed heroin.
What? Muguka has surpassed heroin?
Oh, yes.
In terms of its use? Because what are we talking about here?
In terms of use, in terms of people who've been affected. And I'm not giving you figures that are just based from my imagination. I'm giving you figures based on institutions that are there. This is a report that was done in 2019 by the Assembly of Mombasa. I was not even a governor yet. Look at how vicious this product has now ended up being into our children. A product that is in the year 2019. One of the issues that was asked, relative accessibility to the use of Muguka. 32.6% of those between 11 to 18 years said it was extremely easy to be able to get Muguka for them. 19 to 30 years, 43.1% of them indicated how easy it is for them to be able to get Muguka. Those who have actually used Muguka, this is 2019, who started using Muguka then, 10 years and below, a decent 20+% of these young people who were interviewed then actually confirmed on all this. You don't even go there. It even gives you, this is a detailed report that was done with the help of NACADA. It was with the help of the Public Health and Medical Services, the Directorate of Liquor in Mombasa. I was not even a governor yet. So this problem, the genesis of this problem is that it has started going on, it started getting into society from a very, very long time ago. Look at the figures that are there. Now, allow me just to go through my phone because I didn't print these particular documents. But I want to go through these particular details here. When you look at the likes of Mewa, which is basically a rehab center and a place where they do psychiatric. And you look at the figures of the amount of people who have been admitted over the years, courtesy of Muguka. The figures are now becoming more and more profound. So let's leave Mewa aside. Then you go to the second one. This is the Portrees Hospital, which is our own county facility. I get into the county facility. This was about last Sunday. 70 out of the 45 people who have been admitted, 45 out of the 70 people who are currently admitted, are all using Muguka. And it's one way or another related to Muguka. You go to Mombasa.
Why are they admitted?
Psychiatric problems. You know, you're giving Muguka to a child. Over the years, they continuously use it. This is causing a problem. And you know, people tend to believe, and this stereotype of taking us as if we're zombies who are just, no, you guys are not Muguka. Stop speaking about us if you don't know us. We're going to speak our own story. We're going to tell it the way it is. And the way it is that this product is affecting us.
So again,
and
Governor,
the way it is
that
the traders who are milking from the blood of our people are being insensitive. The fact remains, I sat down with these people. The fact remains, I pleaded with them, stop selling this product to our people. Stop selling it to our children more so. That's where their daily money comes in. That's where they're getting their daily amounts, you know. And I'm hearing that it's a product that is bringing in 22 billion, where Mombasa is the largest consumer of this product. So by largest, I'm assuming what? We're doing, I don't know, 30-40% of this product? 30% or 40% of this product, a product that is cheaper than sukuma, a product that is cheaper than a boiled egg, a product that is easily available than a ballpoint pen, a product that is being sold outside our schools, a product that has now become associated that it is totally okay for a child to be able to use this. Someone had to come in and step in.
What are we looking at here, Governor? And I think that remains an overarching question here. That really, what are the effects of this? Because it has been already, from what I understand, classified as a drug, right? Through which there are there are properties that would then lead towards addiction. But then, what are the effects that we're talking about? If we talk about heroin, which you've admittedly said here is an issue in Mombasa, if we talk about cocaine, if we talk about the other drugs that when we hear them, we know what the effects are. Highly addictive, can cause hallucinations, would then take you towards the steps of some kind of psychiatric issue. What are the effects of this Muguka that we're talking about that is so worrying, that's getting us to the point whereby
Our
you're
people are
saying it to be
getting
bad?
mad. We're having a problem with anxiety.
Mad when we say we're not...
mental cases.
Okay.
We're getting a problem with young people not getting involved in school anymore.
Okay.
We're getting young people who are becoming more and more. You know, when you have, that's where the word dopamine effect comes in. When you take something and it makes you get that feel-good effect, the products that are in this make you feel that. And the time that you now stop using it, anger issues come in. This is a society issue. I lead people. I do not lead stones. I govern people. Those people are being affected by this product. And again, I'm stating this, and I always say this to any particular person, any media house. I want to give you figures. In 2021, we had about 105 people who were taken to the Mombasa Women Empowerment Network, which is a place where they do rehabilitation and they do psychiatric help for addicts. Then when you go to the year 2022, 115, 2023, 185. We're in the year 2024. We've not even reached mid-year. These are just people who've been admitted on Muguka related. Not heroin, nothing else. And by the way, they're surpassing heroin. And that's why I'm saying it's time for us to tell our own narrative. I'm tired of, and I will stop it, this stereotype of being told that, no, you guys are zombies because of heroin. No, we are not. In fact, we've made leaps in trying to be able to clear ourselves from this menace. And I'll not be the one during my time. I'm going to see, and we are not going to be statistical reminders of what happens when leadership does not take charge.
I want to ask a couple of questions.
2024, we already have 169 people who've been taken to this institution. 169 versus 185 of last year. We're already surpassing what the amount of patients who are admitted in just one facility last year, and we are just halfway through it. Guess what? The younger generation that is getting more and more affected, the figures are not even climbing in a gradual manner. The figures are literally skyrocketing.
Numbers. Governor, 105 people in 2021, increased that by 10 in 2022, 115, increased that by 70 in 2023, 185. Already in the first five months of the year, we are at 170. This is and this is just one facility. You're saying Mombasa
this is
Women
just
Empowerment
one facility.
Network.
And by the way, Eric,
so
sorry,
in this network, in this facility, just tell us about this facility. Who is in this facility? Who's brought to this facility? What happens here? Do we have
the ones who actually sent? This is just one facility. This is one facility. It's actually a more community based facility. This is one of we have three centers that people are taking for rehab. Sorry, actually Nakada. I'm even going to give you figures from Nakada. If you don't believe the one that is run by the county, you don't believe the ones that is run by the community, then there's the one that is run by the national government as well. Every single one of these are telling you a horrific story of the net effects of Muguka.
I want to ask the specific question, Governor, if you allow me, before you take this break. In this facility, let's say the Mombasa Women Empowerment Network, who is here, who's brought here, and what condition? How does somebody end up in this facility?
You know, when people start experiencing and they give these levels of... when you try and deny your body sleep, you try and you're continuously consuming something that eventually leads you to getting into depression. When you continuously abuse a substance, when a young person is growing, they're more vulnerable. Their systems are not fully developed yet. This is something that has now attacked our younger generation. And I'm telling you, I refuse for someone else to speak on our behalf.
Hold on, Governor. Just specifically, so what happens? How does somebody end up in this facility?
Their families take them there.
Why? What happens? What do they exhibit?
Of course, they exhibit mental issues. Some of them exhibit the fact that they have addiction problems. And, these figures that I'm giving you, these figures I'm giving you.
And give you the effects. I'm going to read this, okay? There are 3 types of effects. Ocular, mean to do with your sight. Blurred vision, mydriasis. And the central nervous system. That's the second category. Dizziness, impaired cognitive functioning, fine tremor, insomnia, headaches. Lastly, psychiatric effects, lethargy, irritability, anorexia, psychotic reaction, depressive reactions, hallucinations.
Effects of
Muguka. These are the effects that it has. It's been categorized as to what it is that it has and how it manifests itself. The things that I have read are what you see in a person who consumes this, and they're in all these phases.
So they end up now in this facility because they have.
It starts with blurred vision, and then you have dizziness,
mental instability.
Then, and in the end, you start hallucinating. You have depressive reactions. You have psychotic reactions. That is now what you see. Yes.
Let's take a break. Governor Abdulswamad Sherrif Nassir is our guest this morning. He's the governor of Mombasa. He said Muguka is a big issue in Mombasa, and the governor has said absolutely no way. No more transportation of Muguka into Mombasa or within Mombasa. No more selling of Muguka anywhere within the boundaries of Mombasa County. And what's the big issue? The big issue here, like the governor is telling us, is it's not just a new one. It started many years before. In 2019, for example, the County Assembly of Mombasa actually did a study on the effects of this particular, what do you call it, a leaf? Right?
Yeah, it's a leaf.
Herb. Okay. On this particular thing that's being consumed in the county, and they came up with huge figures. There was serious access of Muguka to children who are below 10, and even those who are between the ages of 11 and 18 years who should be in school were chewing this thing because it was extremely easy for them to access it. The governor says he went to several facilities over the weekend, last weekend, not this one. And for example, in Port Reitz, the 45 out of the 70 people admitted there are admitted because they have, side effects of chewing Muguka. It's a huge number.
Muguka dependency, I think that's very big.
45 out of the 70 people admitted to a facility.
By the way, this 2019 report that was done, the recommendation that is done then, 2019, a ban imposed. The recommendations, the first recommendation that was done is a ban needs to be imposed on Muguka use in Mombasa County.
This was the county assembly in 2019.
This is 2019. I'm telling you, this has been something that has been just there. People look at us. These young people it's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate, and I'm always going to use this as an example, and it's my responsibility to speak it out the way it is. These young people who we are told holding these knives and everything else, that's not the effect of heroin. That is not the effect of heroin. The effect of heroin is the direct opposite. That actually, majority of those people, this is an effect of use of Muguka. Then on top of it as well, they take this what is meant to be prescribed pill that is meant to be for purposes of fighting depression. So on one part you're taking something that is causing you the depression, on the other part you're taking something that is, and when you do that, you become, that's when you hear that someone becomes exactly. This is a tablet that is available in pharmacies, and we're asking the Pharmacy and Poisons Board to do an analysis of the people who are actually importing, because this is not a product that is made in Kenya. I have no authority as the governor to be able to look at the Pharmacy and Poisons Board and start saying, but we're actually going to start this conversation with our members of parliament where they need to do an analysis of all these psychotic tablets. Who are the people who are buying them? Which pharmacy buys these tablets at the highest? Does the consumption of those tablets correlate who are these doctors who are issuing these prescriptions? And if those prescriptions are not being issued, the facilities that are selling them, that is the only way we can be able to curb that particular menace. And it is something that we, as the county government, are going to take it up with our leaders from the National Assembly and the Senate, that they need to be able to start this conversation, to call in someone, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. They need to do an audit. You can't have something that is being consumed by people for purposes of giving them a kick and a high, for purpose of making them feel like they're angels, that they cannot be touched. But what I can do, I can be able to stop this particular stimulant, which, by the way, you know, me, I'm not even going to, I'm not a doctor. But I'll tell you one thing. I want to read out reports that were actually done. These were reports that were reported by the Standard Media. We have no doubt that the Standard Media does excellent reporting. This is a report that was done 8 years ago. A story. Consumption of miraa affects the sexual capability of men and could lead to heart attack, a new study has revealed. The study by lecturers from Moy University, which was commissioned by the government last year, also revealed that the plant affects the mortality of sperms. This emerged when scientists asked to study the effect of the plant released the report in Great Rift Valley Lodge in Naivasha. This is not even my story. This was done 8 years ago. The difference between miraa and moka, because I know that is the next question that I'm going to be asked.
Yes.
Why moka? Why not miraa? I will make a decision based on an informed perspective. Every single facility that is there, we did our own. Once I became governor, I wanted to find out what is the issue that is affecting our children. So I set out my education department to sit down with our health department, psychiatrists, reach out to children from areas that majority of people perceive to be troubled. About 11,000 and something girls, 11,000 and something boys as well were interviewed. Now, guess what is another common denominator? Why are you causing problems? What is it that is making you this way? And one of those common denominators is moka and its easy availability.
You know, one of the things, Your Excellency, that is those who've researched this, what they talk about are the many similarities between miraa and moka. And they argue both ways that one just has enhanced capabilities of the same.
One does not have enhanced. One, I'm telling you, this one, you know, for those of you who love mushrooms.
Which one?
Exactly. Exactly. For those of you who take mushrooms, there are three types of mushrooms. There's the mushroom that you will eat and has a high protein content that's going to be good for your body. Then there's mushroom number 2, which will give you a proper kick and a high. Then there's mushroom number 3, which now gives you death.
It sends you to your creator.
Those are all mushrooms. You want to define alcohol. For those who drink, there's the alcohol that is going to give them that feeling of being mellow and happy and all. But then there's also a definition of alcohol that will make you go blind. That is all alcohol. Now, this is not even my doing. I want to give you something else. The plants that are prohibited in Kenya is cannabis, the coca bush, the opium poppy, and one which I have no idea what this is, but this is something called Papaver setigram. However, there's what is called in the 4th schedule, what are called the precursor elements into this. There are 2 products that are actually available inside miraa and moka. The only difference is the ones that are there in Muguka is so high. These are actually substances that were banned by World Health, UN, and they're actually already in Kenyan law. The problem is not the tree.
It's the content.
It is the content of the tree. In the Kenyan context, the argument that this is a cash crop, it could be a cash crop, but the question is, when you now release those components in that cash crop and you're giving them in high doses to young people, and then those young people so happen that your biggest consumers are Mombasa, and you're even admitting that your biggest consumers are Mombasa, the products contained, one of them that is already in Kenyan law is caffeine, the other one is cathinone. These are products that I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but everywhere that you go, the studies indicate, in fact, right now, I am aware that there are plans to remove this to do an amendment on the NACADA laws to actually remove these two elements that from
Banned substances.
from banned substances, and I'll tell you for obvious reasons, because I'm presuming someone said, you know what, at the rate at which we're moving, someone is going to wake up and say that, look, we're stopping this, and this is not something, I'm repeating again, it is not something that we just woke up and decided on.
What I was
Governor,
saying earlier was the pharmaceutical drug that is related to what we're referring to, they're called amphetamines.
Methamphetamines, yeah.
Yes, and dextroamphetamines. They usually work on the central nervous system, and people who have attention deficiency are normally offered this particular drug. Now, athletes who want enhanced performance are also prescribed and given these. Now, recreationally, people take amphetamines if they want to be euphoric, or some even think it's an aphrodisiac. Now, why do I mention this? Now, imagine these qualities prescribed, controlled. Now you have a situation where it's a free for all, it's available, and you have no knowledge of what it does. We all say that any drug taken without prescriptions is harmful, isn't it? Here we are again.
Governor, why do you think the consumption is so high in Mombasa?
It's too easily available. Did we have, I'll be lying to myself. I'll be lying to the nation if I actually don't admit the fact that we also need to be able to whip society in place. Are we doing that? Yes. Are we trying to be able to talk to parents, to talk to children? Yes, we are. But when you start denying that you don't have a problem, then that itself is a problem. The reason why Muguka is so easily available, today if you go to places like Embu and Meru, they don't sell them to their children.
Why is that? Because that was going to be... Sorry, I'm going to go somewhere with this now. Because one would agree that it is available around the country, isn't it? It is available
I'm assuming.
where...
I don't know.
It's available... it's available where it's produced.
It's not banned anywhere
It's
in Kenya.
not banned anywhere in Kenya. It's
Yeah.
available, but we are seeing that there is a problem, according to what you're saying. I mean, even from the statistics and numbers that we're seeing here, there is a major problem with its use and consumption in Mombasa.
True.
So, if we remove Muguka, and if we're not dealing with what could be one of the root problems, if you remove Muguka, and if we're going to do simple mathematics, if that can be applied, Muguka will be replaced by something else in the future.
First of all, the chances of getting another drug that is going to be as cheap as Muguka, not during my watch.
Okay.
I want to tell you something, and I want to make this very clear, because this is a conversation that people have been talking about, and I see this a lot, these comments in social media. Why are you not tackling the effect of heroin? So help me God. if national government today, constitutionally, tell me this was our role, but we're giving it to you as the governor of Mombasa. So help me God, what I would do. I have no power to be able to get into containers that come in from the port. I have no powers to be able to search people who are getting into our aircrafts and getting into Kenya. I have no powers to be able to put people at international border posts because heroin is not grown locally. But the same zeal and enthusiasm had national government, and I'm actually asking this, and this question should be asked to those people who are meant to actually have the powers and have the capacity to be able to fight heroin. They need to be asked, why can't you fight heroin the same way that Abdulswamad is being able to fight the drugs that he can be able to fight? I'm saying again, if today I'm told the anti-narcotics unit is falling under your domain, do what needs to be done. There'll be a lot of, if what I'm doing now is something that is causing ripples, what I would do next could definitely cause a tsunami. And I'm not going to state what I'm going to do. But this is not the end of bringing sanity and order. Mark my words. I'm going to be cold here because I'm going to be touching on other people's nerves as well. I'm going to be touching on other people's businesses as well.
Big ones.
Next thing that I'm going to do is, and this is a problem that is there, these places which are called maeneo will pick those people up. You have two choices. You either go to jail or I'm taking you to rehab. And then after that, those people who now feel that they can be able to expose, anyway, let me not just not divulge too much, but this is going to be a year of sanity and order.
Bigger thing is coming. Governor, on the 15th, just about 12 days ago, you met with the leadership of Embu, led by their governor, Cecily Marire.
Yes.
Where you said you discussed actions to control the sale of miraa and Muguka to minors. And you resolved to form a team to develop tough regulations to guide traders on the sale of Muguka and miraa, and you remain firm that you will safeguard the children from harm.
Yes.
Did you form the task force?
Yes.
What are the terms of reference for this task force?
The law is already existing. The law already exists. You can't just pick up a boda and decide to transport. The law perceives that the reason why you can't be able to do that is so that you don't take it to the wrong place. You need to be able to get a special permit for you to be able to transport. You need to be able to get a special license for you to be able to sell these items. These guys, I didn't even do it myself. I told them, out of that spirit of goodwill, I'm giving you guys, the county government, termination notice for those people who are selling areas outside schools, outside our mosques, outside our churches, outside our madrasas and Sunday schools. Kindly tell these people not to do this. They went out, issued hundreds of notices. Hundreds of notices. Notices expired. What happens? First day, they see an inspectorate officer, everyone starts getting jittery, we close the shop and do everything else. And now we have videos and pictures where everyone just decided, you know what? The governor came in, spoke in a good word, and by the way, she really, really tried to plead on behalf of her people. I give her credit. I give the governor of Embu credit that she really, really tried. She came over, she talked, she did what needs to be done. She realized that, yes, we have this problem. And, you asked me why. I don't think a Muguka farmer would give Muguka to their child to eat. I don't think so.
So did you form the task force?
Yes, we did. We actually came in. It was not something that I had to do, wait and gazette it or anything else. But I got names that she proposed. I got names that the Meru team proposed. I got names from the health department. I got names from the education department. I got names from Serikali Mitaani, which is basically our department that deals with going all the way to village levels. Mapped out these areas, told this team, start going out, issued these notices. People
and
get
yet
greedy.
The ban is in effect.
No, that was before the ban got into effect. I put the ban into place when I realized that people are looking at this matter like it is just a one big joke.
They're taking it lightly.
They're not taking it lightly. They're taking us for a fool.
But Governor, 12 days ago, you meet with the leadership of Embu Meru.
And we did. By the way,
You agree to form a task force. A few days later, even before the task force has even begun doing its work,
that's wrong, Eric.
banned.
Actually, no, that's wrong, because they started working the next day.
all right?
It's not that they never started working.
Have they handed in a report?
Yes, they did do a report. They went out themselves and they gave these notices to all these places that are selling. They did it themselves. I told them, look, I don't want to be the one that seems to be denying your people a right to be able to
Did you
make
have
a
a
living.
follow-up meeting with these leaders?
I'm not going to continuously do follow-up meetings when my people. Again, I'm repeating this word. I will not be the governor that is going to be leading a people who will once be told that Mombasa is a statistical reminder of what happens when leadership does not take action.
But hear me out. You welcome the leaders, including the governor of Embu.
Yes, we did. And by the way, the conversation.
The task force is formed. We are talking about just a period of 12 days ago.
Right.
A task force is formed. A task force, you say, has done its work. It brings back a report. But you don't even have another follow-up conversation with the leaders that you sat down with and agreed.
By the way,
you go ahead and issue a blanket ban.
Let me explain. When we met with the first team that came in was it Embu or Meru, one of them. But when they came in, the team from Meru came with the deputy governor. The governor called me herself, raising these concerns.
This process, you have engagements with the leaders of Meru. Embu.
By the way, I want to state this on the onset. I truly respect the leadership. I appreciate the fact that they actually came over to Mombasa for us to be able to discuss this matter. They are aware. We did pick those people. My sentiments are very, very simple. This is causing a problem. In fact, when I met with the Meru leadership, I actually ended up calling the different stakeholders so they can also understand that this is not an issue that is being prompted by me as an individual, but this is an issue that is society-led. I wanted them to hear the other side. They've always been hearing the side of the farmer and the trader and the cooperatives. I wanted them to hear the other side as well. And the Meru team were there, and they appreciated this. When the team from Embu came in, I called in the area's member of the county assembly, and every single one of them explained the reason why they made this particular tough stance, that why we intend to be able to come up with tough stances. And she appreciated this. We did a joint press release on this. People were told, yes, traders are now going to be able to start abiding. Everything is going to be, you go and remove people, and hundreds of notices are issued out. I told them, please talk to your kinsmen in your languages. Talk to them in a way that they can be able to understand. Treat the children here the way you treat children anywhere else. The traders disrespected their own leaders. They threw sand on the faces of me and their own leaders back home. I'm their local leader, but their leaders back home. And they looked at this like this was one big joke to them. In fact, one of one of the traders, you want to know that the effect of what Muguka has. One of the traders who deals in both Muguka and miraa, when they came in, and this is not something that they said that is not minuted, or they said it just to me alone. When we were the team of other stakeholders, they were there, and other leaders as well, they were there. And one of these people comes up and says, even if you increase this figure by about 500,000 from the cess that you put in at about 80,000 shillings, Kwale has already proposed that this figure should go to about 100,000. You want to know that this is not a problem that is a problem that is an Abdulswamad problem. That this is a problem, that it's a society problem, it's a region's problem. Mungaro talked about this. When we started discussing this matter, Mungaro was amongst the people as well who came out strong and actually talked about this. The governor of Taita talked about this. Do you know in Kwale they actually have a law banning this that was done in the previous regime?
Mungaro's era.
No, in Kwale, not Kilifi, in Kwale.
In Kwale, yes.
During the time of the former governor.
Mvuria.
You go to Tana River. You want to see the effect of Muguka on people. Anxiety problems started kicking in. There was a time roads got washed away and the product was unable to reach in. This is a problem in Lamu as well. And it is a decision that was not just made by me as an individual. I might have been the person who got irked enough to pick up and pull the trigger first. But the net effect of all this is because of what it is that we're seeing. And I'm telling you again, I'm truly appreciating the efforts that were done by the leaders. If there's something that the farmers, the transporters need to be aware of, is their leaders did try. But truth be told, the businessmen, the farmers need to look back at the people who are selling their products back in our homes, back in our areas, and they threw sand on our faces. They're poisoning our young people, our young generation. They refuse, either by design or by default, to be able to say that, you know what, we're going to take this product and sell it to someone. They sell this product to someone who they can clearly see and tell that this person already has a mental problem.
And
you go to social media right now. Go to social media right now, and I truly don't blame. Someone was telling me, I have a reason. I have a reason why in my phone. I've said this before when I was here with you. I don't have social media on my phone. I could walk around with a kebab made. It wouldn't make any difference to me. I don't even have WhatsApp. And I told this to my son. I said, in leadership, you need to be able to be strong enough to hold your emotions and make decisions that are not going to be based on emotions, but based on what results are going to come out. Right? And that is what we are doing. I know. And if you want to know that this is, others called that this is a political risk that you're taking, you're going to die a natural political risk. I would rather face that. But guess what is happening? I talked about it. I did what needed to be done. I'm so blessed. This is not just my doing. I think literally, every single leader in Mombasa, the whole county assembly, collectively, members of parliament, all of them have talked about it, except one who I'm assuming does not necessarily mean that he's supporting. The women rep has confirmed her full support on this matter. We only have one nominated senator who actually says that no, let young people be able to enjoy themselves, who I for her own reasons, and I don't want to be able to engage in a debate with her. It's her democratic right. She can be able to do what she needs to do. She's nominated, so probably that's the reason as to why she's not answerable to an electorate. But at the end of the day, this is a collective decision
by all leaders.
It's when I tell you everyone, I mean the whole county assembly, all members of parliament, our senator, our women rep, You name it. I'm telling you, there are only two people. One has not talked about it. I'm assuming he's not talked about it does not mean that he's necessarily supporting the consumption. One has gone out and said, no, I'm supporting the consumption of Muguka. For her own reasons, I would not want to get involved into that discussion. Then you go to places like Kilifi. All leadership, including the cabinet secretary, who hails from Kilifi, Aisha Jumwa. You go to Kwale, everyone is talking. Go to Taita, where the governor and all the other leaders, dear Lord, please, we're telling the people who feel that we are hurting their income, we can't all be in this a level where we're conniving against you. And we're urging, I've written, by the way, to the chief of, to the head of public service. I've personally written to the head of public service. And I've copied the Minister of Interior, I've copied the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Health, and I've told them the reason as to why, with all the evidence, all the facts and everything else. And I've literally, in the love that I have for my fellow Kenyans, I've said that we're requesting for national government to consider funding those farmers to be able to come up with another alternative crop. And once they do that, I take it upon myself as the governor of Mombasa, and I'm sure we can be able to discuss this matter with other governors in the other areas. If Muguka is so good, consume it elsewhere. But our blood says Muguka is bad. Our figures indicate that Muguka is bad. Our figures and facts and figures, everything out there. This narrative that watu wa pwani ni watu wa kukula unga and everything else, those young people that you're seeing doing all these things, everything is correlated to Muguka. And if you feel that it is so good, if you feel that it is a super plant, consume it yourself so you can get more better. But please spare us that agony of seeing our children being exposed to these things.
We'll be taking a couple of calls, and we want to open the phone line so we can also get feedback and you hear it. I want to ask on the legal power of your executive order. So this is the governor of one county who issues an executive order against a product, right? And this product has not been termed illegal countrywide. It's a product that you're terming illegal in your jurisdiction. What's the power of this particular order? What if another governor of Elgeyo Marakwet decides, you know what, cigarettes are horrible, and I want to ban cigarettes in my area?
By the way, I mentioned to you, and that's just one of the many ways that we can be able to prove this. However, considering that I have already been warned that I'm going to be taken to court, let me not relay everything out. But I've already told you of the products that are there in this
the active ingredients in Muguka.
These are things that they're not banned by any other except it's Kenyan law. World Health Organization product that has been banned in majority of countries in the world. After coming up with this ban, I'm now getting international universities sending me reports and letters congratulating me that what I'm doing is actually right. I have actually received letters from international researchers sent to my office. People I don't know, but people were telling me, we're telling you what you're doing is the right thing.
Okay.
I'm repeating this again. Majority of the people who discard this conversation, majority of the people who look at us with a lot of disbelief that we can be able to make such kind of declarations on behalf of our people in the interest of protecting our people are actually not people from Mombasa. Mombasa is so cosmopolitan. Inside Mombasa, I have every tribe, every religion, everyone else. Other than the people who are already addicted and are consuming. And by the way, we just didn't put a ban. I have already announced 18 areas where we're going to do outreaches for purposes of giving people psychiatric help. I've already confirmed the county government of Mombasa is going to spend its own money to pay and admit people who feel after being assessed that they need to be able to get rehabilitation at our own cost. We've already worked out with Mombasa Women Network, Reach Out and MEWA. We're going to be able, we've already purchased enough medicines so that we can be able to treat people. People are going to speak this language out there that, you know, why is everyone else not being affected, but it is only the coastal people that are being affected. The fact remains that we are being affected.
That's the bottom line. Let's go to the phone lines, Governor. Abbas in Nyali, good morning.
Morning.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Ningependa kuchangia mada ambayo Muguka anazungumzia hapo.
Tuendelee.
Kwanza kabisa sisi kama vijana wa Mombasa, kwa sababu tumeona gavana amechukua role kama ya mzazi mbali na kiongozi, kwa sababu swala la Muguka ni jambo ambalo pia
Abbas, bad line. Let's hear from Salim. Salim in Mombasa, good morning.
Good morning, Latif.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
What's your reaction to this? Do you support the ban on Muguka in Mombasa?
No, I don't. And I want to say it in Swahili. If today omena wazuiliwe wasiingie Mombasa, omena wataliwa huko wanakutoka, iwe ni Kisumu iwe ni wapi. Viazi vikizuiliwa leo visiingie Mombasa, viazi vitaliwa maeneo ya Central. Lakini leo Muguka umezuiliwa, imekuwa ni shida, imekuwa ni fujo, imekuwa ni ghasia. Hii ina maana tunaona ile kauli ambayo inatumika dunia nzima, the dealer does not consume. Hii inatuambia sisi kama vijana wa Mombasa, hicho tunacholazimishiwa kuuziwa si salama kwetu. And I'm speaking as a youth and as an artist, and I even said taharuki Mombasani, mjadala toka juzi, walokaa barazani wanalia machozi na wakaa umaskani wamejawa na majonzi, mwataka kula majani, kwani mkuu wa mbuzi? We do not support.
Thank you, Salim. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, Latif.
Very well. Where are you this morning?
I'm calling from Chuda, Mombasa.
Okay. Do you support the ban?
Yes, I support the ban. Actually, I've got three issues. One is that the governor should hold. Let him push to the core. In fact, he should not fear. The other day I was listening to a certain nominated senator was saying that what if the court allows the Muguka to be sold? What I can tell the governor is that wewe shikilia hapo, even if the court allows, what I know is that the court always give recommendations thereafter. They'll not just say that they're allowing, but they don't give recommendations. Two, since the ban of this particular product, we have seen drastic reduction of idling around the mitaani. There is something called maskani within Mombasa that the guys just decide to sit, and they sit there from morning up to late at night. Even at 3 a.m. you pass there, you'll still find them there. These are really reduced in Mombasa. Lastly, as a youth, what I would request the governor is that there was this particular program that the governor was handling called Mombasa Yangu. If this particular program can be able to come back and bring this, give opportunity to the youth so that they can participate in other activities within the community, it will be of benefit to the people of Mombasa. And I highly support the ban of this particular product. And let this not be seen as something that is targeting a community or whatever, because I heard another senator was saying that this is targeting people from the up country. Today we have fish in Mombasa, but we are allowing fish from Kisumu to come in. Today we have bananas that are coming within the coastal region of the Taita, but we are allowing bananas from Kisii to come in. We have potatoes that can be found in Kwale, but we are allowing potatoes from Kiambu to come in. So what I think the government should ask these particular growers of Muguka, why don't they find alternative crops or products that they can bring to Mombasa instead of Muguka?
Thank you very much. Kevin in Mombasa as well, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
my contribution to this, first of all, Your Excellency, the Governor, we are in full support on the ban of Muguka. I think this was part of the agenda that you sold to the people of Mombasa. So you're not really deviating from what you told the people of of Mombasa County that you're going to do. And I remember, Your Excellency, just a few, last year, you were able to launch a program that deals with rehabilitation of people who use bang, which has been a very big problem in Mombasa. So with the same power that you're doing this, Your Excellency, we're in full support of the ban of this thing called Muguka, because you're fighting for the generation, not just now, but you are given the power to be the custodian of the future of this part, of Mombasa County. So on behalf of the people of Mombasa and as a youth, we're in full support of the ban of Muguka, and we encourage different forms of trade that will enrich both the farmers and also the people of Mombasa. So to see shikilie hii mambo ya Muguka simply because we believe that it's a political issue, but rather we should look at protecting and uplifting the lives of the young people.
Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin Muzini from Cuda in full support.
Asante. Boniface in South B, Nairobi, good morning.
Yes, how are you?
Very well. Do you support the ban on Muguka in Mombasa on the coast?
Yeah, naweza support, but still naona hii ban inaweza affect cause naona other drugs zenye zinatumika Mombasa kwa wingi sana. Hii Muguka kubaniwa inaweza make other drugs hata zikuwe zinatumika zaidi.
Kama gani?
Tu kweli. Cost inajulikana kwa drugs mingi zenye sasa siwezi taja ati moja kwa moja tu. Yeah.
Taja moja.
Yeah. Heroin, hizo, yeah.
All right. So you think banning this one will encourage consumption of the other drugs? Let's hear Blackwater in Mombasa. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen and a lady.
Good morning.
Governor Barigani.
Salama sana.
Hey, okay. I personally, I think it's a valid action. But again, I'm looking at it from the perspective where we're throwing away the baby and the bathwater. I think there's a better way of doing this. Because one, we need to know what is the age and the demographic of the people consuming this drug. And why can it be, could you not regulate it the way people regulate alcohol on times and sales? At the same time, we're looking at the demographic, because mostly the rich are using miraa. It's the poor that are doing this Muguka. And I've seen it, but the issue is who gives the permits? It is the county who gives them the permit. That means you can control how many outlets you can have in this city.
Okay.
Okay. At the same time, please tell us how much money are we losing by shutting down these businesses? Because I know it must be a win-win. They might be making more, but they say 22 billion. But I know you must be making something too. That means that we could take that money and reinvest it.
Okay.
In schools and matters like that.
Okay.
I think that's about it for now.
Thank you. Thank you, Blackwater. Eric in Embu.
Yes, hello, Spice FM. My name is Modomi Barimbui from Embu County. And I just want to ask the governor to look for a win-win situation in the whole of this thing. Because Muguka may not necessarily be bad. Because even when you look at countries like Colombia, which were accused of doing cocaine, traditionally they used to consume what was called coca leaves. And they're still consumed as a medicinal thing, and also in a traditional perspective that help them even in their jobs. Muguka has some benefits. You find that people work longer, people sometimes like long-distance travelers, they stay awake longer. My urge to the governors of both counties, please, these are livelihoods of millions of people you are talking about. It is a $20 billion shilling industry. Can we find a win-win situation rather than have like a hard stand on this thing.
Instead of being too drastic. Eric, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
In the part of Embu where you come from, do they grow Muguka?
Yes. We grow Muguka in Bere South, and many of us are Muguka farmers. And I think one of the things, Eric, we should be asking ourselves is, maybe we even need to look for a way to add value to this. Maybe we can use it as a juice that then can be better regulated and also can add value, can be better regulated so that it does not go to the young people. We also have issues with young people consuming, but you are trying to sensitize people not to use these at the wrong ages. Eric, anything can be abused. Even food is abused. It's only a matter of how do we regulate these things, how can we ensure that it is not bad. In Colombia, the leadership tried to show that coca leaves are not necessarily bad. It is when they are processed into cocaine that they become bad. And people in those
is
areas,
Muguka processed?
those jungles, coca leaves are the ones that are processed to make the cocaine paste that eventually is processed into cocaine. So my urge really, Eric, is let's not have a hard. We are all in Kenya. We are all Kenyans. These are lose-lose situations that we are looking at currently. Let us find a win-win situation for the people of Embu and for the people of Mombasa. We empathize with the situation of our brothers and sisters who have been affected negatively, but let's not just come to a hard line that cannot be negotiated.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you,
Mudomi Barimbui from Embu.
Thank you, Mudomi. The president of the Kenya Medical Association, Dr. Simon Kigondu. Good morning.
Good morning. Salimia Governor hapo. Alikuwa chief guest wangu. Alikuwa chief guest wangu in the conference. Now, I don't like being boxed into do you support, do you not support, but what I support is the process that the governor has taken. Kenya Medical Association likes evidence-based policy decisions. So even in court, what will be asked is, yes, you talked of the children. Are these the effects from these Muguka? Is this the social impact? So the science, we would encourage that they continue doing more science on it so that you have evidence-based policy making decision. The problem with this is that you have a decision that is thought to be a politicized weapon, such that Muguka is grown in one region and consumed in another. Then some other people are thinking it's a political thing. In the side of science, we want to say, does Muguka cause this? Has it done that for the people in Mombasa? Is a decision that was made based on science, and I support the process of decision making.
Okay. Dr. Kigondu, the psychiatrists and psychologists, psychiatrists are members of your association.
Yes.
Have you had conversations from the professionals in your association who are raising concern about use of Muguka and them having to deal with patients?
Yes. Over and above that, the psychiatrists, and that's what I was saying, get scientific papers and actually analyze them in that studio. Get the psychiatrists to come and discuss the effects of Muguka. So psychiatrists have actually said that Muguka has this, Muguka and all other drugs, so to speak, has this and this effect. Then you have a county government that has gone to the society and said they have noticed the behavior of people taking this drug and they are making a decision based on that. But the psychiatrists indeed have said there are effects of Muguka, miraa, and other drugs.
Okay.
So also in the rehabilitation centers, my wife personally runs a rehabilitation center. Some of the long-term effects of those drugs that are consumed actually lead people to needing alcohol and substance abuse rehabilitation.
Thank you, Dr. And finally, so you can respond to these ones, we've got a lady on the line, and Edna didn't get your name right. What's your name?
Hello, my name is Sherrif from Mombasa.
Okay.
I'm a women leader, and I want to, good morning, first of all. I want to commend my governor for that step that he's taken. It's a bold move. To be honest, people are politicizing what has just taken place. But to be sincere, Muguka has not been made a drug because of political interest. And the issue is this. It is not just about our young kids that have been messed up. Our families have broken in Mombasa. Our fathers are missing in the homes. Our women are using Mugukas, and this is very unfortunate. Our education standard is very low. We are trying to put it up. Our governor is really trying to uplift the education standard. Muguka is not making it easy. I don't know why we are being forced to use it. I like the young man who said that we have potatoes, we have cabbages, we have everything everywhere. And we have not complained. Yes, we have drug issues, but that is beyond us. I love the way the governor has said, you can only do what you can do.
Okay.
If he's given the mandate, he will do it. Moguka is making people zombies. I have had patients I've taken to rehabilitation. I can even tell you, most of these accidents on the roads, most of the drivers are using Mogukas who are living from Mombasa. This is something that we need to take serious. Our families are really having issues. We have our social issues, yes, but our young kids have become zombies. They are leaving schools. The transition, even for kids to live from one class to the next, if you look at the numbers, is not working out. And yes, people think that it is political, but it is not. Of course, we've had a lot of issues. We have economic issues. Our education levels are low. Our people are poor, and we are bringing in Moguka when we say no, and it is becoming politics. I think it's about time that we take this bold move. So I really commend my governor, and as women leaders, we support you 100%.
Asante sana, Threa.
You see, this is what I was trying to tell you. I was looking at the calls and the demographics. I think Abbas and all the others, Salim said that chances are very, very high if Omena didn't come in, it would be consumed elsewhere. The reason why it's a problem is Muguka is not going to be consumed anywhere else. If it was there was a market for it to be consumed anywhere else, would not have this whole conversation, because they would simply ship that product to somewhere else. But it's us, and the reason it is us is because we're a county that is now addicted, a county that is dependent. 22 billion. I gave you an example. I gave you an example. I don't know, because I heard you reading in the newspaper that we're the highest consumer of Moguka.
Yeah.
The one county called Mombasa. If we're the highest, what are we? At 30%? 40%? That means, on an average, Mombasa consumes 700 million.
7 billion.
7 billion.
Yep.
Sorry. 7 billion shillings of Moguka.
Of the 22 billion trade.
Of that 22 billion.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, dear Lord, my people of Mombasa, we can take that 7 billion and do better things with it.
Which is what Blackwater is asking. So what is the revenue loss here?
By the way, when it comes to revenue loss for us directly as a county, I would assume, and I don't call it a loss. I really don't call it a loss, because you can't be able to equate something where you're losing more. So the net value of what we are gaining is actually higher than what it is that we're losing. We're losing more right now. When you have 7 billion that is being spent out, 7 billion that is spent on a product that we have not seen that level of productivity. There's no study to show that there's productivity. There's study to show negativity on this. There's study that is indicating that our young people, this is where it irks me the most. I sweat, I go out and I tell people we need to be able to pay bursaries for our children. I need to get our children back in school. Dropout rates are getting high. You do research and everything else is boiling down to the level of Moguka. You ask that question right now, Eric, who was kind enough to say that, yes, I wish you asked him whether the children of Embu are consuming this product. Why should it be our children? You know, the gentleman Boniface from South B. This is what I'm saying. This stereotype of someone else speaking on how we look, how we actually, we will say how we look, we will say how we smell, we will say how we speak, and we will dictate of how we want our future to be. This narrative and this stereotype ya kuwa watu wa Mombasa kuna madawa ya kulevya, watu wa nini kuna nini. Now we will change this narrative. The story will be that success comes from where we come from. And it can only be done if we're going to be able to take action. And again, I'm going to repeat this issue again. You know, you asked me what is the next ripple effect that I'm going to be able to put into effect. Once this happens, once this happens, and I am glad, right now we're already starting to see people who are accepting that they have a problem, who are accepting that they need to be able to go and get in psychiatric help, rehabilitation where it is needed. We need to be able to close down. We're going to be writing to the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. What audit have they done for these medicines that young people are taking, these blue tablets, and doing crazy things? What audit have they been able to do? We're going to challenge national government that we are even ready, that if you cannot be able to fight the fight against heroin and everything else, give me that mandate.
Yeah. Governor, we've got to allow you to go to our colleagues at Vibes Radio. They'd like to have a conversation with you for the next 20 minutes or so. But thank you very much for joining us.
Asante sana. You know, as always, it's always a pleasure for me to be able to come over.
Asante sana.
And I just thought you should be aware as well, as my parting shot. The last weekend, we're on a Monday. Crime rate has already reduced. These are not figures from myself. These are figures from the National Police Service. I just thought you should be aware.
And you attribute this directly to the zero sale of Muguka?
Maybe if the shoe fits, it belongs to Cinderella.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.